For Unit 3, Assignment 7D, I need to make a video that includes examples of how I would incorporate a specific book with a family or child activity. Prior to reading the story that I chose, I'd prepared the room by closing curtains and turning off all unnecessary light sources, because the book I had chosen is called Blackout by John Rocco. The story is about one hot summer night in the city when all the power goes out, the TV shuts off, a boy screams for his mom, his sister can't use the telephone anymore, mom can't work on her computer, and dad can't finish cooking dinner. The authors ask the reader, what's a family to do? So John Rocco shows that if you are willing to put your cares aside for a while, there is party potential in a hot summer blackout. So prior to reading the story, I prepared the children by asking them if they knew what a power outage was. Most of the children knew what one was. Not all of them had experienced one. But I told them that I was prepared if we were going to have a blackout in our classroom. I passed out small flashlights to each child and told them to listen closely to the story, and when the lights in the story went out, they needed to turn on their flashlights and shine the light beams on the pages of the book so that I could continue reading the story. So during the story, the children listened intently and commented on the illustrations and the familiar settings. The illustrator just did a marvelous job with the drawings and the colors that were chosen. And when the story reached the part about the power outage, I had a helper turn the lights off. The kids shrieked and awed when the room got dark. The boys and girls started clicking on their flashlights, and little light beams started shining around the room. And I told them at that time, to shine their light beams on the book so that I could continue reading the story. So the children in the story found lots of fun ways to spend that hot summer night in the city without electricity. So when I finished reading the story, I asked the children a few questions, where the story took place and what the problem in the story was and how the problem was solved. And I told them that I had a little activity for them. So while I was reading the story, I had the assistant prepare some activity centers for the children. So we had things like board games, and they could do shadow figures or coloring activities or building blocks, or simply just look at books with their flashlight. They were going to go in 5-minute rotations, and they were free to choose whichever center that they wanted to, just keep the limits in mind. So we monitored the classroom while they enjoyed their activities. It was fun watching them. They seemed to really enjoy working with flashlights and doing activities that they were familiar with. So at the end of the rotations, I called all the children, to rejoin me back on the rug for just a brief reflection. I wanted to know what their favorite part of the story and what they enjoyed about the activities. And one common favorite was that they wished that they could work with flashlights in the dark more often. So, kids. The at-home connection follow-up activity, I prepared a note to go home to the families about the story and the activities that their children enjoyed at school. I included in that note instructions for an at-home activity assignment. I wanted them to have their child tell them about the story Blackout and the activities that they had learned, and have the kids tell them about the story Blackout and the activities that they learned that could be enjoyed during a power outage. The parents were to set up a 30-minute blackout time at home and to have an adult document the activities that the family enjoyed together during their at-home blackout. And if they would kindly return the note back to school so that the children could share with their class the activities that they had with their parents. So I think this was a pretty fun activity. My children enjoyed it, and I look forward to having more activities in the future. Thank you.